Do you know that the O-Level English syllabus is changing dramatically from 2024? In fact, Paper 1 will be the reading paper, and Paper 2 will be the writing paper. Here is everything you need to know about this syllabus change. The first thing you should know is that Paper 1 is now the reading paper. The paper is of 50 marks, and the candidates will have 2 hours to complete their exam. Basically, the reading paper has structured and extended writing questions that are based on 2 reading texts. Let me explain this to you in detail. In the exam, you will be provided with 2 reading materials, 1 narrative, and 1 factual. The reading paper is divided into 2 sections, Section A and Section B. For Section A, you have to read the narrative text to answer the questions, and Section B is related to the factual text. Let's take a look at each of them in detail. Section A, previously known as the Reading for Ideas, is now called Comprehension and Use of Language. And this part is of 25 marks. Pretty simple, isn't it? But now, let me break down all of this for you. To answer questions in this section, you will have to read the narrative passage. And, you will be having 2 questions to answer. For question 1, candidates will be tested on explicit and implicit meanings. In simple words, you will have simple comprehension questions, for which you will read the text to find the answer. In total, question 1 will be of 16 marks. Moving on to the second question, which will test your vocabulary and interpreting skills. In this question, students will be asked related to the author's use of language and the effect it has. Let me show you how these questions will appear in the exam. As I said earlier, explicit questions are those that are very clear. This means that you will simply read the passage to find the answer. On the other hand, implicit questions refer to something that is understood but not described clearly. An example is the explain in your own words question. Note that the question below is explicit as it is clear. And you can simply read the passage to find the 2 features required by the question. Moving on, here are some other parts from question 1, taken from the specimen paper. Are they implicit, explicit questions or both? Do let me know in the comments below. With this, it is time to move on to question 2. As I mentioned earlier, this question of 9 marks is related to the author's use of language. According to Cambridge, these questions test the understanding of how writers achieve effects and influence readers. Let me show you what these questions will look like. The question above is asking the reader to interpret the given line. And the question below is asking what effect the writer wants to create. If you want to know how to answer the effect part, you can watch my video on the meaning and effect question. But the main idea over here is that the candidates will answer the vocabulary questions in this part. Before moving ahead, here is another example, taken from the specimen paper. You can find the link in the description. Here is a quick summary of the changes to the reading paper. You can pause the video to take a look. With this, it is time to move on to Section B of the reading paper. To answer the questions, you will have to read the factual text given in the insert. And using the information, you will answer 2 types of questions, a summary task, and a short response task. Let me explain this to you in detail. To attempt the summary task this time, students will not have content points, like the current paper format. In fact, they will read the passage to write a summary of 150 to 180 words, in continuous writing. And this task is of 20 marks. If you want to ace your summary writing, do watch my detailed video on this topic. Getting back to our topic, you will have 10 marks for reading and identifying the relevant details, and 10 marks for presenting them through your writing. Here is an image from the marking scheme that will help to identify how to score maximum marks in summary writing. Now let's talk about the second task of Section B, which is of 5 marks. This is a short opinion-based question, where the candidates will be given an imagine situation. Using the evidence from the text, they will answer this question. For example, you can be given a situation where you are giving an interview as a local citizen. Here is an example. As you can see in the question, we have an imaginary situation where we are giving an interview as the owner of a hotel. In short, you will use the passage to give and develop your opinion for a certain situation. This takes us straight to paper 2, which is now the writing paper. The writing paper is now of 2 hours and is of 50 marks. And the overall paper structure is pretty similar to the current syllabus. In the writing paper, you will have 2 sections. one for directed writing, and one for composition. Let's take a look at each of them in detail. If I compare this directed writing task to the previous one, it has a greater reading input. This is because candidates now will have 1 or 2 reading texts that will be used for directed writing. You should also know that the word limit is 250 to 350 words, and the directed writing topics include an email, report, letter, article, speech and argumentative. Let me show you what the question will look like. As you can see, you will be given a reading material that you will use to develop your response. Note that you will be given 10 marks for content and 15 marks for language. And if you want detailed videos on each directed writing topic, you can check this playlist, where I have covered all these topics in detail. The link is in the description. With this, it is time to talk about composition. This section is of 25 marks, and the word limit is 350 to 450 words. In this section, you will be given 2 narrative and 2 descriptive writing questions. And you will have to attempt any one of them. If you want to know how to ace narrative and descriptive writing, you can check my detailed step-by-step guide. But in short, a narrative tells a story, containing a sequence of connected events, which may be real or imaginary. And descriptive writing describes a person, place or situation in detail, so that the reader can picture it. With that being said, only 10% of people who watch my videos are subscribed. So if this content is helping you, feel free to hit the subscribe button below this video, right now. By clicking above, you will find the OLevel English playlist. And if you want to know about the types of questions in comprehension, click below. Thank you very much for watching.